Good day, everyone. It is my wife's birthday, and she is 73 years old. I think the previous night I said to her, wow, 73. And that reminded me about a dream that I had in 2004. We walking together, that's me and my wife, and we had to walk 73 lanes to reach our room number 20. But each lane, as we traveled through each lane, every room had the room number 20. So my focus was on 20, and I did not think about 73 now, and I want to discuss this in the next video concerning that dream and the significance of that. Yeah, and yeah, I believe it is this year, 2023. Yeah, and concerning, people asking many questions. Are we in the time of Jacob's trouble? I say no, we are not yet in Jacob's trouble. And the lead in the bunkers, they scream the words out, for the wrath of God has come. So I believe that is where it starts. It begins with the sixth seal. So we are not into God's wrath as yet, but this Daniel's 70th week must still begin. So we are still currently in the times of sorrows, tribulation, and some great tribulation. I call the 7 years of Daniel's timeline, I call it God's wrath. The 7 trumpet judgment and the 7 bowl judgment, that is God's wrath. The 4 horsemen currently up to seal 5, that is our daily sorrows. It's war, it's pestilence, it is hunger, it is a lot of aspects going on there, and that covers Matthew 24 from 3 to 15, and that speaks about the 4 horsemen. So that is not a subject today, but I'm just telling you that we are not into God's wrath yet. We're still in the times of sorrows, and I believe 2023 will be a turbulent year, very difficult year. So set your books for a notification for that video, the next video on my wife's birthday. I don't know what the title will be. I still discuss it. I had a video already on that, we call it room number 20. However, that didn't come to pass. My interpretation on that was wrong. And yeah, so I'll discuss that video again on that. I believe it is this year. Now today's subject is Jewish Messiah will meet his brethren in the 2nd year of the famine. Yes, we are in the 1st year of Joseph's. Dreams always have a multiple, it happens again and again. Like it happened in the days of Egypt, this will be similar. And God gave us a warning that in 2014, you remember the 2 cows? The one with the fat, big 7, that's a fat cow. And the one with the lean cow, also with the number 7, both at the number 7 years. So the 7th good years, the 7 good years was from 2015 until 2022. However, the economy did not collapse then normally as it should be on a sabbatical 7 year. I checked that again, it was a sabbatical year, 2022, and it ended October 27. The next year should have followed on. And many people already believe it now is 2000, moved on to 2029, but in actual fact, the second coming then will be 2030, which is actually starting this year, the 7th year. This year, the Feast of Trumpets is wrong again. They're having it as September 15 to 17, but it is actually October 15 to 17, according to the heavenly signs. That's another video for another day. Not discussing that today, but I'm just briefly telling you what is happening. So on today with today's subject, Jewish Messiah meet the Bretheren in the second year of the famine. You know that Satan always copies God, and that's right. Jesus fulfilled Ben Joseph in his first coming. And of course, Israel rejected Jesus, Yeshua, HaMashiach, as their Messiah. And Jesus said unto them, the Father sent him, and they rejected him, his Son. But they will receive another person in his own name, and that's the person they will receive. And of course, Jews know that already for 3 years, almost 3.5 years ago, say more than 3 years ago, yeah, that already from 2018, 19, they already knew who the Messiah is. They said they will know him, according to the Talmud, they will know him about 3 years before the time. They will know who his Messiah is. And of course, their Messiah must pass tests. They must pass a test. One is that of a suffering servant, which is Ben Joseph. Now, Joseph also suffered. He was, for 13 years he was in prison. And he really suffered and labored in Egypt, and of course he had much favor with the God there in prison. And Joseph used to interpret dreams, and eventually God used Joseph, and he became the prime minister. And guess what? When that day that was, it happened on Feast of Trumpets, that Joseph was promoted to Feast of Trumpets. And Psalms, I don't know which psalm it is. Check it up, but in one of the Psalms it is stated that God remembered Joseph. And when you see the word remembered, the book of remembrance is always open on Feast of Trumpets. And it was on that day that Joseph became prime minister. And he went through the first 7 years of good years. Joseph told them to stock up for the next 7 years, because there are coming 7 bad years, 7 lean years. And of course, the significance of that dream is not, that will happen in our days as well. And we had the significance of that is that from 2015 until 2022, we had good years. And that is since Donald Trump came here in 2016, the Dow Jones just rocketed from 18 points, and from 18 until 33. At one stage it was almost at 36. Yeah. So the people, some people didn't like Donald Trump, but they loved the money. Yeah, and that's true. So we had a good year. So from October already onwards, we see that the linear started. That's the first year. The first year started now. And that is from October 2022. That's the 27th. We already seeing the 7th. The fuel prices, gas prices just skyrocket. Daily, if we visit the supermarkets, and then you find the prices just escalate and escalate. And it is going to escalate even more, and I say that right now at the beginning, prepare for this year, because put things away. If you can buy extra things, because many people will lose their jobs and etc., and they will have no supplies, and that is coming. It is coming, people. As mentioned in the previous videos, the abomination is coming back again, and this time Satan will use domination in this aspect. That is the third stage that you're going to use, and he's going after the 30%. The 30% remaining, or the 70% that already took the abomination. Excuse me. So let me just go on to the scripture. But before that, let me say to you, the Jews believe in two messiahs. That's what they do believe in messiahs, but watchmen have a great problem in identifying who is the Antichrist and the false prophet. They don't know. I haven't come across one that identifies them correctly. And the word, the scripture says in Revelation 13, verse 18, count the number of the beast, because it's a number of a man. It's a 666. We are to count the number of the beast. It's a number of a man. The man's number is 666. And if you count up, then Adam's the number in Hebrew, and that calculation for that name is that is causes that's in the Hebrew word for that is 45. Aleph is 1, Zelet is 4, and Mem is 40, and that gives you 45. And that is 45. That is the 45th president of the United States of the United States. The 45th president of the United States. Some already tried to whistle it away or speak it away by saying, no, there's one short, he's actually the 44th. That is what they're trying to say. So then Biden would be the 45th. No. As distinctly, he is the 45th, and you will see now, even the Bible make mention of that. Yeah, that is number 45. And the second beast, of course, is the Jewish Messiah. The second beast, Revelation 13:11, is the biblical false prophet, but then also the Jewish Messiah is also the seventh king. The seventh king, the first will rule the first empire of Nebuchadnezzar's dream in Daniel chapter 2. Even if you see, it's also related to Isaiah 45, King Cyrus. Thus says the Lord to his Messiah, the Messiah, to Cyrus, whom he was kind of like the Messiah for the Jews at that time, whom I have taken by his right hand to subdue Gentiles before him, and to loose the loins of the king, to open before the two gates, and the gates shall be opened. He then built the temple. Cyrus then built the temple. Look at that, Isaiah 45. How is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I don't think so. He is named out, and it is together. Cyrus and Donald Trump appears on the temple coin that Donald Trump will build. Donald Trump will build the second temple the third temple for, and that third temple is not for God, it is for the Antichrist people. Now if you go over to the next chapter, it's Joseph. My word. Also Genesis 45. Can that be a real coincidence? Donald Trump is a type of Joseph. You remember Jesus fulfilled this role in his first coming, and when Jesus returned, he will fulfill Ben David as the conquering king, the Lion of Judah, defeating the enemies of Israel. But when Ben David arrives, Ben David, the false one, the false Messiah, the second one, when he arrives on the scene, he is of course the eighth king. The false prophet will make a statue of Ben David, and when they see who it is, they will flee before. They will flee to Petra, and that is what Jesus Christ will describe as the abomination. So that is still future. But we will say now, but he cannot do miracles. Yes, he will do his miracles, and that of course is not the one with the glasses that you see. He is just a distraction, people. Don't listen to it. The watchmen, some watchmen go bananas about this one. They run to their video and make a video. Yeah, the Jewish Messiah has arrived. That's not the Jewish Messiah at all. The Jewish Messiah appears on the temple coin. He is also named after the golden hides. Yeah, that is called Trump hides. Okay, so here, and Joseph here says, could not refrain himself before all those that stood before me in the crowd. Caused everyone to go out from me, and no one stood with him while Joseph made himself known unto his brethren. And this will come to pass at the second coming of Jesus Christ, when Jesus will make himself known to all his brethren, the Israelites. And we will witness that day. We will come back with Jesus Christ, and we will see that meeting. And Jesus will probably also say, you people stand on the side, just let me alone with my brethren. That will be a moment. And of course, he wept aloud, and the Egyptians and the house of Pharaoh heard this. And Joseph said to his brethren, I am Joseph, does my father yet live? And his brethren could not answer him, for they were terrified at his presence. Then Joseph said unto his brethren, now come near to me, I pray you. And they came near and said, I am Joseph your brother, whom you sold in Egypt. Now therefore be not grieved nor angry with yourself that you sold me, for God sent me before you for life. And and he says, for these 2 years, listen carefully now, for these 2 years, for this coming 2 years, now this is the first year. This is the first year, people. When does the second year start? That will be end of this year, Feast of Trumpets. Then it will go into the second year. And then he will say, for these 2 years, the famine has been in land, and yet there are 5 left, in which there shall be neither be plowing nor harvest. This will be probably just at a time when he make it known after World War III, after Nuclear War III, and everything, nothing you can plant, neither drink water. And it is at this time that the biblical false prophet, the Jewish Messiah, will make himself known to the Jews. Whether it is on Feast of Trumpets, that was already in the second year of the famine, or will it be just later during Tabernacles after? I believe it could be very well at Tabernacles that he will meet, maybe at the 8th day of Tabernacles, and then he will make this announcement. And he said, and Joseph, of course, said, God sent me before you that you might remain in earth and that you might be given life by great liberty. And I believe it is in the second year, that's at the beginning of the second year, that God will take out his people. That is when the Jewish Messiah, introduced himself to these people, and of course he also make a covenant. The same person, the Jewish Messiah, not the Antichrist, the biblical false prophet, from the tribe of Dan, he will make that peace treaty, of course, with his brethren, and it will probably be at that time. It's not that one, but it is concerning the prophecy. Sorry, I put it in a wrong scale. It's concerning the prophecy. It says, Dan will provide justice for his people as one of the tribes of Israel. And it says that Dan will be a snake by the roadside, a viper along the path that bites the horse's heel so that the rider tumbles backwards. And I look for your deliverance, Lord. So he will deliver then Israel in the first year out of, but then he will betray them. And that's when the abomination takes place in the second half, people. So he introduced himself. Let's go back to that scripture, Joseph. And as Joseph said, these 2 years famine has been in the land, and yet there are 5 years in which there shall neither be plowing nor harvest. Now, 2022 was a 7th sabbatical, and naturally Jacob's trouble, or Daniel's timeline, should have come into the picture, but because Jesus shortened the time during those 7 years, and I feel what Jesus do there, he adds then that's now 2023, another year to it, and then also the year that Israel, when the parable of the fig tree, the parable of the barren fig tree, when Jesus said, for 3 years I'm coming here now, and I don't find fruit. Why do you still keep it? And then Jesus wanted him to make away with the tree. That, of course, is Israel. And the dresser said, give it another year. And it is that year. Remember that 24 months. That is 24 months that God shortened the time. So basically, it's only 5 years. It's the real, in reality, according to the length of time, the time frame is only 5 years. So Jesus takes 2 years away in time, because he shortened the day from 24 hours to 16 hours a day, and that is what that 5 years remain there. That is just after the nuclear World War III, that the Jewish Messiah, DJT, will introduce him to his brethren. So that's my story, people. Be blessed. I love you all. And set your notification for the next video, because I just want to briefly discuss that dream again. Much blessings. Please do subscribe and share this video.